welcome back to another episode of Maintenance with Mike. Today we're back in the garage. We've got about 8 hours or so on the Kubota 2816 snowblower. At 4 hours I lubricated the chain and the grease nipples on the auger shafts, but I'm going to pull the covers off this section here, which will expose the chain, and we can check the tension of the chain just to make sure it's still within the tolerances of the manual. And we'll show you how to disengage the drive here so that we can turn the auger freely to lube the chain. So it recommends a chainsaw bar oil, which is very tacky and sticky, which makes sense that it would stick to the chain. But that's the plan for today. We're going to they've actually got an adjustment stands on this snowblower, which is nice. I wish they had that on my rototiller. But basically you pull this pin out and you drop these feet down so that the snowblower gets slightly angled forward, which makes it easier to pull off. We're going to disconnect it from the quick connect here just because it's much easier to get behind the plate of the actually I don't think it makes a difference. What we disconnect is here, and this is still, well, you know what, it'll make it a little bit easier to work on if we disconnect it and pull the tractor back a little bit. So that's the plan. Let's get started. So upon closer inspection here, removing the quick coupler would still leave this huge section here and this bar, which covers this plate here, or inspection plate for the chain. So, I mean, taking this off is not going to really help us at all. So, there's 3 bolts. There's 2 bolts on each side to pull this inspection cover off, and that'll expose the chain. And then there's 2 other bolts on each side that tightens that chain. So let's grab a wrench. We'll pull these 2 off. We'll pull the cover off so you can have a quick look at that first. So these are 1/2 inch. Let's have a quick look at these first. And these are actually a bolt, not a nut. So this bolt comes out from each side. We'll stick that in a tray, and then one on this side. Now, just so everybody knows, the first time I pulled this cover off to inspect the chain, to my surprise, which again has done it, you can see there's a wear mark on the inside of this plate, and that wear mark is the keyway. And I thought, I don't know why it keeps backing itself off, but let's have a quick look here. So you pull that lever back, which disconnects the quick coupler, and then you can rotate the chain by just turning the auger. That seems pretty tight. No, maybe not. There's an Allen key hole in the top of this sprocket, let's call it. And I thought, yes, I thought that's what tightened against this keyway. But for whatever reason, I can slide this keyway in and out. Maybe it's not quite tight enough. And that's what that wear mark that you see on the front of that lid is this keyway sliding forward and rubbing on this inspection plate. So that's a bit odd. We'll check that again for tension. Let me grab the manual and see what the limits are supposed to be on this chain. And they make it and it's very difficult to get in here to check that deflection. Okay, so we've got we've got the cover off now. Like I said, this keyway right here is sliding out for whatever reason and wearing the front of that cover. But before we deal with that, I'm thinking what I might want to do is put a little bit of spin that that Allen bolt all the way out of the sprocket. Maybe put a little bit of blue Loctite on it, because maybe it's loosening up. Because that keyway shouldn't slide out that far to wear the front of the cover. I got the manual here now, so let's see what the chain tension is saying. So I see in the manual here now it says the sprocket deflection on this side here, if you can see that. We're getting a bad shadow here with the deflection on the sprocket chain. It says from the center of the chain to the outside would be an allowable 1/16 or 1/8 inch from outside to center of deflection. So the full deflection of the chain would be 1/4 inch. So eighth inch would be max on each side, so 1/4 inch max. So let's see if we can check that with all this stuff in the way here. That's a pretty tough thing to do. There's not a lot of room in here. That seems like it's more than 1/4 inch there. Apologize. To me, it seems like it's a bit too loose, and as well, I think I want to figure out what's going on with this keyway. Maybe pull that bolt out, and this is supposed to tighten down on top of the keyway so the keyway can't slide. So let's have a look at that as well. Loose already, is it? Yeah, it is loose again. Yeah, this has definitely come loose again. So I think we're going to Loctite that in there. There's the bolt. And the threads look fine. Like I said, we'll put a little bit of Loctite on that so it doesn't back itself off, because the keyway should stay locked in there, not it shouldn't be allowed to slide around. The chain adjustment, from what I believe, is pretty simple. You just loosen these other 4 bolts, or 2 bolts on each side, and that loosens this assembly here, and just basically drops it down to tighten the chain. Yeah, so it says here, remove the driveline guard, which is what we've taken off. Loosen the 4 bolts securing the reduction box to the snowblower. Well, that is these. There's 2 bolts on this side and 2 bolts on this side. And once you do that, it's gonna drop down and put some tension on the chain. I did watch, there's another video that I watched on YouTube, a gentleman by the name of Ryan Lynch, and he does a PDI that's quite good on this snowblower. And what he did for the adjustment is he just loosened these bolts off, and just the weight of that piece on the chain in the assembly holds it sort of where it should be as far as the tension goes. So we're going to try that and see if it does sort of equal out to what we think, you know, just under 1/4 inch for full play, and see how that goes. So let's loosen those off. I don't know if they're 1/2 inch as well. Oh, they are. Okay. It's it's a pretty tight little area to get in here, that's for sure. And they're actually, I thought they'd be tighter than they are. They're not super tight, these bolts, so we'll have to remember that when we tighten them back up again. course, there's no torque setting there, but we'll see what we can do. And you almost need another joint in your fingers to get these on here. Ooh, the bottom one's a bit tighter than the top one, that's for sure. And Ryan also applied some Loctite on these. And I think I'm going to get the, this is just a 1/4 inch drive. I think I'm going to go with the 3/8 drive, 1/2 inch, to make it a little bit easier on myself. Just so I can get a bit more torque. There we go. It's a little easier. We're just loosening those up. We will spin those back quite far later. And like I said, the reason we're going to do that is because I'm going to put some Loctite on those. And definitely put some Loctite in there on those threads. So that's those ones. Push this back a little bit here. See if I can get those ones on this side. And one more down here. Sorry if I'm in the way of the camera. There we go. Okay, those 4 bolts are loose. Yeah, we see now. The tension is just kind of, it's just hanging on there now. These adjustable? Okay. So basically you just loosen those 4 bolts off and push down on this plate. And that basically pushes the chain tighter. That's much better there. Yeah, that was too loose before. So that's pretty simple. Like I said, just with pressing down on that a little bit, it's just kind of held the whole thing. What we're just going to do is, there's the keyway. Wipe the grungies off there. Stick that in. You can definitely see there's some square on the top of the keyway where that's supposed to lock against. So we'll put a little Loctite on this piece here. This is the Allen bolt that we're going to thread back inside here that tightens down onto the keyway. This is the Loctite 242, which is a medium strength thread locker, which means you don't need heat to take it off. So we're just going to put a little bit on the threads on this. Hopefully that'll hold it. We'll drop it into this hole and not cross thread it. Tighten it down inside the barrel. Give it a good tighten on there. Fortunately, my Allen keys are not very long on this part here. So, but you shouldn't have to tighten it much more than that, especially with Loctite. I'm hoping that that holds it. We can do the old spanner trick, I guess, to see if we can. I don't want to tighten it too much, though. Strip it. But if you do want to get a little bit more torque on that, a trick is you can put a spanner onto an Allen key like this. Gives you a little bit more torque. So that is all I want to tighten that without risking any issues. So like I said, we're going to just spin these bolts back enough that I'm going to be able to put a little dab of Loctite on each one of these. Just going to snug these up. Good. Same with the bottom one here. We're going to spin that out far enough that we can drip some Loctite in there. It's literally dripping it from the top because it's a ways down there. Okay, we'll spin that one in now. So we've tightened these 4 bolts back up now with Loctite. We have put this Allen wrench bolt back in to hold the keyway tight, which I can't move the keyway now. And we did put it in Loctite, so hopefully that helps. We've disconnected the quick coupler here. So we can oil that chain. Don't know if you can tell the tension now. Let me see if I can get in closer here and see if you can really see on this side. I don't know if this is going to show it. You can see that moving. Like I said, it's really hard to measure the deflection with an actual ruler. I mean, again, it's not a piano, but you don't want it slopping around either. You know, same with on a bicycle or a motorcycle. Slightly looser is better than too tight. If you do it too tight, you're going to wear all these sprocket teeth in no time at all. If you have it too loose, it's going to be slapping around and there is the possibility of it jumping, which you don't want either. So there has to be a happy medium. It's definitely tighter than it was, but I feel that it's not too loose now. I think it was too loose before, and that I think you're going to see that maybe in a run-in period. Like I said, I've been running it for about 8 hours at some pretty good RPM. So that's going to stretch to a certain point. in a certain amount of time, and then it probably won't stretch anymore now. But we'll check it periodically, like they say in the manual. Let's get some oil now and lube that. So this is, I know it's a gear lube container, but I just have it, I bought one of the big jugs of the Still chainsaw bar oil, which is, it's a bit too big to handle. So what I do is I disconnect the quick connect, I reach over with my other arm here and I can turn the auger on the front with my hand and basically just run some chain lube on the chain all the way around a bunch of times. Oh, let me go here. That'll do it. This stuff is super tacky. Sticks to anything. So that should do it for that. You can hear it sticking. Okay. And the last step is to grease the auger assembly on the front. So we'll move the camera and we'll show you how to do that as well. Actually, let's put this inspection plate back on now. We don't need this. We don't need this off now still. So let's just, check ourselves here. We've Loctited these 4 bolts back together here. So that's good. We've lubed this. We Loctite the Allen bolt onto the keyway piece that was wearing out the inspection plate on the front. So I don't know if that's a Kubota factory thing or if that's a PDI thing. I don't know. Or maybe that's on me. Maybe I should have checked that in the first 4 hours. I don't know. But it is what it is. So let's put the inspection plate back on and then we will move to the front. These tabs go inside here. It just slides down right on top of this other plate. And that allows these to line up. I'm not going to Loctite these. They have a bolt that grips onto the plate. And like I said, this is just the inspection plate. This is not actually the other 4 bolts are actually holding the gear reduction piece to the chain, right? So that's a much bigger deal. Okay, so this is the front of the snowblower now. And these are your grease nipples for, I don't think this is, oh yeah, I guess it does turn on there. Here's your shear bolt. There's a shear bolt on this side. And then another one on the other side. So these will tend to break if you auger yourself a rock. So let's grab the grease gun, which is right behind me here. And we will turn this so we can get it on there. Get a couple pumps in here. And then there's another grease nipple on this side. So that's that. Make sure everything turns nicely. You can hear that chain's rotating in there nice and sticky. I checked the oil in here just recently This is a, I guess a fill 2 hole. So if you crack this and it's sitting level, you should just, the fluid, the gear fluid should be just at the bottom of these threads. So like I said, we'll check that another day. I did that just recently, so. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of Maintenance with Mike. That is checking the chain tension on a Kubota 2816 snowblower and adjusting the chain tension and lubricating the chain as well and greasing the nipples in the auger in the front as well. So hopefully that helps you guys. That's just a how-to on what I do every 4 hours or so. It recommends to check that. This is about 8 hours now on this unit, so I think maybe the chain stretched a little bit, or maybe it wasn't quite as tight as I liked it. With the we put Loctite on these now, so that hopefully they don't loosen up over time. Chain was a little bit loose for my liking, so we just tightened it up a little bit and put it all back together. So I hope that helps. We thank you for watching our videos. Please like and consider subscribing to the channel. If you find these helpful, share them with a family member or a friend, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again. Cheers.